And we're delighted to have with us two members of the Bayberry String Quartet, and they would be Gabe Bolkowski and Laura Usiskin. Welcome to our program.
Thanks for having us.
Yes,
Now,
thank you.
Tell me a little bit about the Bayberry, but first I should say that you performed at the July 1st gala, and you performed a new piece. We'll talk about that in a minute, but first I want to hear about the Bayberry String Quartet. How long have you been around, and how were you formed?
We've been around, this will be our 7th season.
Wow.
We started in, I guess it would have been 2018 was when we first got together. And since then, we've done a lot of performing. We've done a lot of educational efforts, released a lot of videos, done a lot of blogs, and really kept busy.
Wow.
Just released one CD as well. We just released a recording of Mozart quartets.
Oh, no kidding. And would I be able to find you on YouTube or a place like that?
Yes, you can find a lot of videos on YouTube. I mean, many videos on YouTube. And then our recording, which is called Only Mozart's in the Building. It's a little parody of Only Murders in the Building.
Right.
Is on our website.
Wonderful.
So, yeah.
And how did you all meet?
I ran a chamber music festival for about 20 years. And so Laura and Stephanie and Nurit, for various reasons, came and taught at that festival for many years. And we all sort of felt a connection with one another in many different ways, musically, of course, but also personally. And we really felt a kind of a closeness of hearts and minds. And so we decided to give it a go.
Right. Wonderful. And the piece that you played at Carnegie, at the Weill Recital Hall, I understand that was your first performance at Carnegie as a quartet.
Yes, that was yes, we had individually played there, but the first time as the quartet, which was great.
Pretty exciting. What was the piece? Tell us about the piece and the composer and all of that.
Yeah, the piece was called In Floribus, and it's the second string quartet of a Romanian composer, a living Romanian composer, Livia Teodorescu, who was there. She flew in from Romania to attend the performance.
Wow.
And it's a great piece. It's a 2-movement, 15-minute work. And she describes it as wanting to create what she called a hyper instrument out of the quartet, as in it sort of sounds like one instrument kind of emerges out of the other to create one big instrument, kind of like the branches from a tree. So there's lots of times where we maybe have the same note and then that note kind of spreads, or we have the same texture and then that texture spreads. So it's a lot of layering effects and sort of imitative effects. And we were able to work with her several times remotely on the piece, sent her recordings. We did a virtual session.
Oh, really?
And finally we're able to play it in the concert.
And was this a world premiere?
No, although she had made a number of modifications since the last time it's been played.
And tell me about working with her. You worked with her virtually before she flew in from Romania. And what was working with her like? Did she have a lot of pointers? Did you have some suggestions for her about how it was written? Because that happens too, right?
Yeah, I found her to be deeply refreshing. She everything that she wrote, even though the piece is really like very technically interwoven together, it doesn't necessarily look like a vocal piece. It's definitely came from her voice. She would sing the parts to us a lot, and that gave us a lot of information about what those dots on the page really meant. It was really coming from her voice.
At the end, absolute the last bar, I suggest all the second violin, viola, and cello, no less than four beats to stand on fortissimo and disappear, because we should give the sense of the end. So I mean, I want to change that only two beats. It should be 4 beats, and not so quick diminuendo in the last moment, and then rest the first violin, and long, because originally it was transition to the third part. So this is why it's not the sense of an ending here.
Right.
So we should bring this sense. Yes.
Okay. You want to try it?
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Maybe from 214.
perfect, absolutely perfect. Yeah.
It sounds like, if I can use the word, a little bit avant-garde. It's not a strictly tonal piece.
That's correct. Yeah, I would say it's fairly dense and also at times very beautiful, and she was great in hearing. We brought her question after question, and she gave us a clear sense of what was important to her. Sometimes she would say, "Oh, change that. That's fine," and then other times she would say, "No. This is exactly how I want this part to go." So that was very helpful in us understanding her intentions.
Oh, that's
Overall,
wonderful.
that was so refreshing about her was that she really was trusting of our instincts as performers. She made that really clear that oftentimes our instincts on the concert stage are going to, be a little bit more connected to the music even than what she was hearing. So that was kind of gave us some freedom to really sing out and play what we thought we were hearing.
It's wonderful when a composer is so open to that. I've been reading a little bit about Beethoven lately and his relationship with the violinist Ignaz Schuppanzig. You've probably heard of him.
Huh?
And Beethoven didn't take any suggestions from him. In fact, one time he came up to him and said, I really don't understand this, Ludwig. He said, I know, but you will later. Just trust me. So it's wonderful that you have that relationship with the composer. That's terrific. Now, you mentioned that you do a lot of educational work. I was curious to know what form that takes. Are you doing performances in schools, or how are you reaching young people, if it is young people?
Well, we have a kind of format that we've been using over the years where we meet with, say, depending on the size of the program, between 4 and 20 groups, and we play for them, but then we also try to give them an understanding of the beauty and the intimacy of chamber music. So we try to walk through some principles, some of them coming from the Cleveland Quartet that some of us were mentored with, and we try to give them an idea of just how beautiful it is to collaborate with one another and what collaboration means, that it's not just trying to get your own ideas across, but learning how to understand other people's ideas. So we spend a lot of time helping them learn to prepare, but also helping them learn to read a score, helping them learn to interpret that score and what it means when they see each other, helping them learn to be more compassionate with one another, because there's always somebody who's having a little bit more trouble than the others. So we've tried over the years to really hone that process and try to make chamber music really about teaching young people what it means to cooperate.
And these are musicians, young musicians you're talking about.
Yes.
Do you do any programs for general audiences, that are educational?
We have done some school programs. Well,
Right.
we want to do a school. We've done sort of an auditorium style. Well, we'll give a presentation for a school or a portion of a school. We've done classroom work. We've gone into classrooms. What Gabe's describing is workshops that we've given or institutes we've taught at where we are working with young musicians and they're learning a piece. And sometimes we'll start working with them on Friday on their piece for them to perform it 2 days later on a Sunday. It'll just be a weekend workshop. And so it's intensive with big exponential growth over the course of the weekend. But it's something we enjoy doing. We've done several of those workshops. And even during the pandemic, we developed an online system for doing it. And we held virtual chamber music workshops, maybe would you say about a dozen or so, Gabe?
About
virtual
a dozen.
during that time. So, the thirst for creating music together was there. And so we tried to do what we could to make that happen.
Well, that's really wonderful. As I don't have to tell you, the quartet for me, the string quartet, is probably the most melded sound outside of the saxophone quartet, because I did play the saxophone. It's such a uniform sound that it's just, and of course the repertoire for it is inexhaustible. Yeah. So it's a wonderful medium. Have you worked with other have you commissioned any pieces, worked with any other new composers or new pieces?
We haven't commissioned any composers. We've played some other pieces by living composers, and we did do a really fun arrangement of sort of a pop rock song, Frankenstein, that was that you can find. That's a bit of our own arrangement combined with a couple other people input, and you can find that on our YouTube channel. As you said, the repertoire for the quartet is awesome in the literal sense of the word, and so we play a lot. We play new music. We also go back to the classics, like Gabe said. We have an album of Mozart string quartets. They're actually early Mozart. We know a lot of people aren't recording that kind of music these days, and we can't help ourselves to play those classics.
Have you done a Beethoven? Go ahead.
Well, we will be working with another composer soon, Douglas Boyce. I'm trying to remember what school he's out of. Is it
George Washington, I think.
George Washington, yeah. So we are regularly reaching out to composers to try to make sure that we're participating in the continuation of the genre.
Absolutely. Can I recommend a composer to you?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
He's a Ukrainian composer, and maybe you know him. His name is Valentin Silvestrov.
Oh yeah, I've played some Silvestrov.
You have, because he wrote 3 string quartets.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yes, he did. And in fact, I heard one. I'm just completing a 5-hour documentary on his music, so I'm fairly familiar with it. And a local quartet here, the Sheffield String Quartet, which has a unique approach. What they do is they get people to bring them into their homes, and they do about 10 concerts a year. And we're doing it because we met them. But I heard about them because they played the Silvestrov First Quartet, and there's a Ukrainian guy in the group, and he was just over the moon with Silvestrov. So I recommend those quartets to you.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, he wrote 3, and he's living now in Berlin. He fled after the invasion. At the time, he was 84. If you can imagine, an 84-year-old composer in a car with his daughter and granddaughter going to Berlin and trying to avoid the bombs.
Yeah.
That's how each one of my shows starts, with that story. Anyway, so I recommend his work to you. Have you done a Beethoven cycle?
We're working on it. We're always playing a Beethoven quartet. So we're chipping away at them. We haven't gotten to them all yet. We're not quite old enough.
Right. It takes a lot to do those, as well as the Bartok. And have you done any of the Carters?
Funny you should ask. Our first violinist is in the process of, I think, trying to convince us to play the first Carter quartet, but those pieces are so thick. They take so much time. So maybe over time we'll get to them.
They're tough. They don't look difficult on the page to someone who reads music but isn't a musician. But playing it is, forget about it. It's very, very difficult.
Yes.
But I remember once Daniel Barenboim played a piano concerto by Carter at Orchestra Hall.
Wow.
And he invited Carter, so Carter was there. And what struck me about Barenboim, he came out on stage, and I've heard him do this before. He said, you really can't talk about music. That's how he starts his talk. And then he started talking about the music. And he gave examples, but he said to them, now I want you to listen to how lyrical this phrase is in the violins. And I want you to listen to how beautiful this woodwind line is. And he used those words, lyrical, beautiful, sweet. And the audience had to reconcile themselves, because it's music brings out emotions, whether it's by Vivaldi or Elliott Carter. It's the same emotions. So, what does the future look like? What gigs do you have coming up that are on the horizon?
We're working on our recording. We're halfway through recording our next album, which is going to feature Dvorak's American Quartet and Prokofiev's Second String Quartet, and then a work by Ellen Zwillich called Voyage. And then, as Gabe mentioned, we have a collaboration with Douglas Boyce. We're going to record his piece, and which is going to be attached to an AI-generated film that will probably enter the film festival world. So that's going to be, I think, a cool project. His work is called Alcyon, And it's a string quartet with a bit of choreography. We have to walk on and off stage, and we have to talk and tell a story. So that's sort of another big project this season. What else do we have, Gabe, other than a bunch of concerts?
Other than the concerts, we have some educational workshops. We're doing one in at a wonderful school in Birmingham, and then concerts spread out all over the East Coast and
Oh,
a
wow.
little bit in the Midwest. So,
Where on the East Coast? I'll come and see you if you're anywhere near Boston.
we'll be in Philly. How far is Philly from Boston? Is that?
It's a little hike on the. I take the train usually, but that's as close as you come. Well, it sounds like you're very, very busy, and I admire the work you're doing with new composers. You'll, of course, race right out and get some of Silvestra's quartets and look at those.
Yes, we will.
And I wish you the best with all your endeavors. It sounds like a very exciting ensemble.
Well, thank
Thanks
you
so
very
much,
much.
Steve.
So nice to
And-
chat with you.
And if you see Emily, tell her I said hello.
I will. Yeah, I'm sure I'll see her soon.
Take care.
All right.
Take care. Thank you.
We are back bigger and stronger than ever with our new season of auditions and performances.
Our channel is dedicated to bringing live performances and events to audiences around the globe.
Perform in Weill Recital Hall at Carnegie Hall. Opportunities for soloists and chamber musicians are available. Opportunities to perform a concerto with the New York Chamber Players and Orchestra Manhattan. Opportunities for composers to have their works premiered. New, an opportunity to have your string quartets recorded on an album produced by Cicerone Music and Arts. Receive a press interview and be featured on our live internet TV series. Everybody who auditions receives a session with our tech experts to ensure you the maximum quality of presentation from your own equipment. Auditions will be hosted live online throughout the entire season. After your auditions, stay online to receive your personal performance evaluation and a chance to speak with our esteemed judges.
You intend to do all the right things and you do them.
And I see you being very much aware that when your body moves, the sound flows.
It's like I never heard it before. It was like, Oh, okay. So, thank you. Thank you.
There's more. Whole Orchestra is back. Audition to be a featured artist in Florence, Lviv, Cairo, the Philippines. The possibility to take part on a professional recording with the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, and a chance to link up with Price Attractions, a professional artist management company. Applications are due October 1st. Visit our websites for more detail. HoldOrchestra.com, SoundEspressivoCompetition.com, or ProgressiveMusicians.com. So that's opportunities to be featured in New York City and all around the globe. Have your works premiered on a professionally released album? Press interviews on the live internet TV, evaluations from musical experts, professional management opportunities, and so much more. Take that next step forward and reach toward your opportunity to receive world recognition as a musical artist.
We heard 7 artists tonight, and each one was fantastic.
It all starts by filling out that application on one of our websites. Apply by October 1st.